Welcome everyone. In this video I'm going to show you how to create a cube with a hole in it using Tinkercad. By creating this cube with a hole, we will go through many of the basic operations that are essential to understanding Tinkercad. So you can see here that I have a completed version right here, and if I spin around by right-clicking and holding down, I can see the hole does in fact go all the way through this cube. I'm going to jump over here and I'm logged into Tinkercad. I'm going to start from the very beginning. Obviously, the first thing you'll need to do is to create a Tinkercad account. If you don't have one, you can log in using Google or Microsoft, and I believe also Facebook and some other options. I'm logged in with my Google account. I'm going to select Create New Design right here. And once I do that, Tinkercad will load. It may take just a moment for it to load. There's a lot you can do with Tinkercad. Again, I'm just going to scratch the surface here with some basic operations, but I'm going to take this cube right here, this box, I'm going to left-click, hold down, and drag it onto the work plane. It comes on in the default 20 millimeters, and I know it's millimeters by looking down here, 20 by 20 by 20, and I can change that if I want to. I'm going to keep that for right now. I can hide this menu by clicking right here. I'm going to change the size of this. Obviously, my example is quite a bit larger, so let's change the size of this. So I'm going to click on this square right here, and that allows me to change both the width and the depth right here. So if I double-click right here, I can change that to 80, and obviously right now it's not a cube anymore, but I can then double-click on the depth right here and change that to 80, and so now I have a rectangular prism that's not a cube, but I can change that pretty quickly by changing the height right here. So if I click right here, I have the ability to change the height, so I'm going to enter 80 right there. So now I have my cube that is 80 by 80 by 80. Notice that I have a cube right here and also a cylinder, but they're grayed out. These are in fact holes. So I'm going to take the cylindrical hole, I'm going to left click again, hold it down, drag it, drop it over onto the work plane so that it's not covered up by the cube that I just created. And from here, I'm going to simply change the height. Now I could click right here and I can change the diameter. I'm just going to leave it the basic 20 so we can show some other operations. But I do want to change the height. Obviously, the height needs to be 80 so that it goes all the way through the cube that I created. So I'm going to click right here. I'm going to change that height to 80. So now I have a cube and a cylinder that are the same height. If I want to verify that, I can use my view cube over here, and I can click the front view, and I can see they are, in fact, the same height. My left, my scrolling wheel on my mouse allows me to scroll in and out. And I can use this to navigate around. By clicking on the edge, I'll get an angled view. By clicking on the top, I'll get the top view. And that's where I want to go next, is the top view. So from here, I'm going to left click, hold down, and drag across everything. And it should select both shapes. It may be a little hard to tell from this area right here, but if I look right here, it says two shapes are selected, and it shows the red and it shows the hole. I want to align those because I want to make sure the cylinder is exactly centered in the cube. So to do that, I'm going to select the Align tool right here, Align tool. And then I'm going to select the center. And notice how if I hover over that, I'll get a preview. So if I do it on the edge, it's going to be very different. If I do it on the left edge or the right edge, it's obviously going to be very different, but I want it in the center. So I'm going to center it horizontally here. And then here, I'm going to center it along the depth. So if I click here, notice again, I get a preview. It's tempting to look at that and say, oh, it's centered. It's not until I do this. Once both of these dots are gray right here, then my cylinder is in fact centered on the cube, or centered in the cube rather. So now I've centered it, but I need to join them together because I still have two separate shapes. So I'm going to click the group right here, group, and when I do that, again, at first it looks like nothing's happened, but notice I can see through the bottom of this now. And if I rotate around, again using my mouse, right-clicking and holding down, I can rotate at the top and the bottom, and I can see that I have, in fact, created a cylindrical hole all the way through that cube. And those are some of the basic operations that will get you started with Tinkercad. Hopefully that's useful. If you have any questions, please let me know.